Okay. I believe we are live. We should be good. I'll let everybody start going in here a little bit. I am shocked, to be honest with you guys. I am completely shocked. If you are just joining us, and I'm pulling up the stream right now just to make sure we're good and we're live. You can see from the title, but Adrian Wojnarowski has tweeted it. Cannot believe this. JJ Redick, via Woj, has agreed on a 4-year contract to become the next coach of the Los Angeles Lakers. Rob Pelinka offered him the job this morning, according to Woj. And he is working on a staff to surround himself with right now as we speak. Guys, this is massive. This is massive. All right. I'm going to get to your comments in a second. Let me just get to mine first. Here is how I feel about this. I don't want to knock down anybody, but let's just be clear about the history of what we have seen with LeBron James-led teams. It has been a revolving door of head coaches. He's also proven that he could win with David Blatt. He could win with Eric Spoelstra, who's the best of the bunch. You know, I know the teams were a bit unsuccessful, mainly because his second best player was Anderson Varejao. But Mike Brown, Ty, like the list goes on and on and on. Darvin Ham was unsuccessful. And I truly believe that to get the most honest grasp of how a player feels about a coach or a teammate is in the game. There were times where LeBron James disassociated from Darvin Ham. And he's prone to do this, of course, but he would sit away from the huddle. And then he would, speculation-wise, call a different play when out there. It was very it was very Jimmy Eric Spoelstra, right? Now we are going to see the Lakers and LeBron put their money where their mouth is because, as we know, it goes without saying, LeBron James and JJ Redick launched a podcast together not long ago with the Old Man and the Three and Uninterrupted production companies intertwining to put out the product. Let's also be objective and fair. It was a good product. It was a unique product. It showed the intricacies of how JJ's mind thinks and how LeBron's mind thinks. Now, let me also be clear within that. Tony Romo, for example, when he burst onto the scene, we were wowed and amazed. And then I started working in a previous job with former NFL players, some who won multiple Super Bowls, and they would call this stuff out like Romo would, which sort of dispelled that Romo is a wonderkin broadcaster. So with that being said, is JJ Redick a wonderkin X's and O's guy? Or is it just that every NBA player is really damn smart and they know the game inside and out? There are going to be very difficult times. Me personally, considering what we have seen with the Lakers and who they have hired, quite honestly, they shouldn't have gotten rid of Frank Vogel when they won in the bubble, but they did. And it's just been one coach after another. I'm fine with it because at this point, LeBron is in year 21, I believe. Isn't he 38? If this is the guy that he wants and who he truly believes will not only get them to the playoffs, but also further in the playoffs. They got to improve the roster. I do trust him because he is as much of a coach as he is a player. So at this point, I hate to say it, but I sort of throw my hands up in the air and say, why not? Why not? All right, let me get to your comments here. Joe Mama says, sup, Rick. This is no surprise. He is Bron's guy without a doubt. Gizmo says they couldn't get Danny Hurley. That is true. But also, Danny Hurley didn't want it. It really felt like he was at the point, and look, you could answer this yourself, but it felt like he was at the point that it was like, why would I give this up? I understand for 90% of people, Storrs, Connecticut cannot beat out Los Angeles, California. All right. As a former Los Angeles native, I will say nothing really beats it out. But with that being said, some people like where they are in life. And that's where Danny Hurley was. Going to go for the three-peat. He mentioned family a lot when he made his announcement and his decision to stay at the University of Connecticut. So it's just personal preference at that point. You know, some people like the campus life, the small town life. Others want the glitz and glamour of New York City, Los Angeles, Chicago, etc. Danny Hurley just isn't that guy. I also believe that he sees longevity as opposed to Los Angeles potentially being a 2-year thing tops in the worst case scenario. So I don't hate on Danny Hurley for choosing his own path. You really can't. He's been uber successful. And I believe he has a very strong relationship with his players. And he doesn't want to leave any of those kids behind. And that transfer portal would have been outrageous if he were to go to LA. Michael says, Rashad from Gills Arena was right. I didn't see what he said. If you want to let me know, let me know. Jimmy James says, and the S show begins. Time will tell, man. I don't know if it's going to be a total S show. I think it seriously has potential. I think it has more potential than Darvin Ham. I truly don't believe that he could do worse than that. Yeah, that's how I feel. I think this is only an upward move, quite honestly. Main says, you should love this since Bron is so liberal. Literally talking basketball. Also, he hasn't been political in like 3 years. Let's see. Mally Geese says, LOL, this is a joke. LeBron has destroyed the Lakers completely. Brought a championship. So let me know how exactly he has destroyed the Los Angeles Lakers franchise, because he hasn't. I think with the territory and the vision that he brings and the player that he is, there are always going to be people who hate him. And it comes from a few different variables. The first is they are Michael Jordan loyalists, and they cannot fathom LeBron James even being like a top 5 player all time, a top 10 player all time, because that's what goes into being a fanatic, which, by the way, sports media is largely responsible for. We have played up these stupid talking points over and over and over again, and I do believe it is thankfully dying. But we have played this up for years. ESPN, First Take, Cold Pizza, aforementioned. What's the? It's so irrelevant. Undisputed played it up as well. That largely what got Skip Bayless to fame, along with wrongfully saying, outing Troy Aikman when he wasn't even gay in order for him to build his celebrity. So That's one part of it. Another part is you are a, Lakers homer who thinks LeBron can do no right, even if he were to win another championship. It's like Stugatz saying it doesn't count in my personal record book. That's what it sounds like. He has not destroyed the Lakers. The Lakers are always going to be there, much like the Yankees. Okay. Much like Real Madrid and Manchester United. They're always going to have the brand. They're always going to have the loyalists. And they're always going to think, no matter the star player, that guy wasn't good enough to wear their jersey. That's what I read when I'm hearing all this. Anderson says he's going to get the pieces there. What pieces? Joe says Bron gets whatever he wants in Los Angeles. Well, let me ask you a question. If you are one of the best players of all time, you are single-handedly carrying the Lakers. But again, if you want to go back to like the Jordan Hill years, did you enjoy those? Did you? I don't think you did. I think it was fun to look back on how bad the product was. But I think you're in a better spot now than you were before. Michael says Lakers hired a full-time podcaster as coach. No, actually, I love this. They hired a full-time NBA analyst as a coach. Which, by the way, this is the pipeline. Former player goes and becomes an analyst for the four-letter network, does very well in their respective role, starts growing their career, is given a humongous spotlight by being on said four-letter network, impresses a lot of people with their knowledge and IQ, sits down for interviews, and then gets hired. This is a little... It's a fugazi talking point to say that they hired a podcaster, because what you're then doing is whitewashing his entire career up to this point, where he was a fantastic three-point shooter. And I know that the guys like Jerry West, RIP, dogged JJ Redick when Redick was like, yo, Bob Cousy went up against firemen and plumbers. Totally fair. Totally fair. Let's also give credence to him having a very respectable career. It's not like he, no disrespect, was like a DeJuan Wagner type, where he was built up throughout high school and then played in the NBA for like a minute and then was out. Lakers didn't hire DeJuan Wagner. They hired a guy who had a long career in the NBA, showed that he has the ability, not saying he'll be successful, has the ability to dissect the X's and O's, whether on TV or in a video podcast. And now here he is. Let's see. Nola says JJ Redick has Pat Riley potential in the long run. I don't know. That feels tough, man. Like you're comparing like one of the best coaches and one of the best GMs and presidents ever in league history to an unknown. If you call your shot here, 15 years down the road, I'll put on a tweet saying you nailed it, but I just can't go that far. Romero says, give it till the All-Star break. All right, we could. Let's see. Romero spamming. Aaron says, Lakers brass is the reason this job has lost its luster. See, I don't think it has. I think everybody and their mamas want to go to LA. Even if your tenure is short-lived, potentially. I don't think anybody is viewing this as like, oh my God, the Lakers are so terrible. They're going to have to reset at some point, no doubt. Clippers own LA. All right, you're cut off, man. The Clippers do not own LA. Mawani says JJ Redick won't survive in LA when LeBron runs the Lakers. He currently is, though. So it's a little different. All right, I got more work to do. I just wanted to hop on here and say, hey, JJ Redick is your incoming coach for the Los Angeles Lakers for the 24-25 season. If you're watching this on playback, appreciate you watching. Get at me in the comments and we will continue the discussion there. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. I'll see y'all soon.